Hello there. This is a review, a recap for Dragonslayer adventure into Highfell. This was session number 3. Um, Due to some family stuff and work obligations, we only had 2 players for this session. So myself playing Anirion and Steve playing Waylon. We're in this session, but we drove on and got it done. So we start off, we're in the village of Thatcham. Don't do a lot there. I think we might have finalized a little bit of prep and stuff for our characters, but we decide that we're going to return to Highfell. Not initially sure what our mission is. I know we're down on party members. You know, we're missing our thief and our cleric. So we talked about maybe doing a little bit of reconnaissance and seeing what that was up with that. So we ended up looking at, we actually got a map. We were shown a map kind of the area with nothing specific on it, but we saw that near the tower we had already explored, there was another tower. So we decided to go check that one out. This one proves to be made out of rose quartz, and it's pretty tall. It's like 220 feet tall. The forest is nearby. It's near the edge of the floating rock that is Highfell. And we land in the forest, making a camp there. We have Alana with us, the half-elf. She's a ranger. She finds a large track, and it's similar to the one that we've seen before. And she tells us that it's from a giant earthworm, which we both decide, Steve and I, our characters, decide that we don't want any part of that. So our goal is to avoid that if all possible. So we end up going right to the Rose Tower, I call it. We get there. There's a door that we can see, and it's partially ajar. We know we don't have our thief with us, so we're being super careful about traps and such. So the 10-foot pole got a real workout. We push it open with a 10-foot pole. We go in. It's a hallway. We use this battle map here, just as not for miniatures, but more just as a rough guide to what we were seeing. So we actually came in through here, and there was some barrels there. So we start poking around those barrels, and sure enough, we spin up some beetles, and we deal with those pretty quick. And moving our way around, we search our first room, get through that. I spotted my son who's running the game. He rolled in secret to see if I just happened to notice that there was a secret door in this room, and it was successful. So in this room here, there was a secret door, so we find that. We open that up carefully, which was a good thing because 6 skeletons came filing out. So we do battle with those. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I had in that fight, I used, because I got a whopping 2 spells, and I used both of them. I cast Shield on myself, and then I used Magic Missile. I ended up rolling a fumble on an attack, and in my notes here, it says I cowered for 1 round, so I think I missed a round of combat, too. It wasn't a great round for my character. But we got through it, got in this hallway, found another secret door into this room, and continue to explore that level. In the throne room area, we found a obsidian throne that was unscathed by time or anything like that. It's got a bunch of glyphs around it, and I am able to determine if they're magical, but not what they do. We end up just leaving that because we didn't want to tempt fate by sitting in it or anything like that. We go into another room, and there's some magically lit braziers in that room. Actually, we go into this. There's a room here. We go into that, and there's actually a stairwell that leads down. We thought on the map it was going to lead up, but it actually leads down. So we don't go down. We're going to clear this floor first, and we go to the next room. In that room, there's two magically lit braziers. We explore those a little bit more closely, and two fire bats come out of the braziers. So we end up doing combat with those. Not too bad of a combat. We were able to take care of it pretty quickly. Pushing on, this room here has a spiral staircase up, and in that room we found a cloak hanging, and I took that. Cast Identify. Identify is an interesting spell in Dragonslayer because it's not just a gimme. Like, you have to make some rolls, and I wasn't super successful in part of like determining what it is. You have to actually use the item. So I threw caution to the wind and threw the cloak on. So later on, we basically learned that it's a cloak of protection +1, which was nice because my Anirion is an elf wizard, and he's rocking, at the time he was rocking like an 8 armor class. So that cloak will lower his armor class by 1 and give him a +1 to all his saving throws, which will be helpful, I'm sure. We clear that level, and then we do go down. We go back to this room and go down, and it leads us into this. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but we have this big map of the next level. We don't know what's here. We've kind of seen a little bit, but I didn't really pay attention to it. We end up coming down into a small rubble-filled room, and in that room, we see these giant centipedes climbing around the walls and stuff like that, but they don't see us, so we attack them to take them out because we know we're eventually going to come down here. We're not sure if we're going to delve too deep in this. We might wait for our full the rest of our party members, so we just take those guys, the centipedes, out. Not a bad combat. The 2 war dogs really were proving their weight in gold because they killed 4 out of the 6 skeletons. They'd also the centipedes, not the skeletons, because war dogs won't attack undead. They're afraid of them. So, but the fire bats and the centipedes, they went right to town on that stuff and did a lot of damage. We clear that out, and then we determine, yep, this is way bigger. We're gonna wait for the rest of the party to be with us. We go back upstairs. We're gonna clear the upper levels of the tower. So we do that. We go up to the second level. Up there, we find, after we get into it, that's over here. There's a statue in this room, and it's a crystal statue, and I'm able to determine that it's she has an amphora in one hand and a telescope in the other hand, and the amphora looks like it can be removed. So I'm able to determine that that's Galaxina. She's an astromage, and she studied stars and heavens. We use the 10-foot pole to lift the amphora out of the statue's hand, and when we do, the statue comes alive. This was, I think Bryson was kind of hoping that it was going to be a tougher battle for us, but we actually got right through it pretty quick. I think Alana hit it with a critical hit that did a boatload of damage to it and pretty much took it out pretty fast. We didn't really take it. I don't think we took any damage from it. So we searched the next level. That level, we find like a library. The amphora is pretty valuable. We keep that obviously as treasure. We go into another room, and there's like furniture. There's one chair though that is like pristine, and then the rest of it's all rotted and fading away. Waylon pokes that with the 10-foot pole, and it comes alive. It's a young mimic, and it's the reason that the chair looked pristine is because it was a young mimic, and it couldn't really fully mimic itself into this chair, so it would blend in with the surroundings, I guess. So we get a young mimic attacks us. Again, the 2 war dogs, they're kicking ass because they go in and make mincemeat out of that thing, and we finished it pretty quick. It wasn't a super tough fight. We found another room. We keep pushing on. We found another room that's a library, And I spend time here digging through, find a bunch of books. 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 books of value. So we collect those. Yeah, so yeah, we collect those. I think we did have a random encounter here. I don't remember what it was because we were rolling for random encounters, like a bunch of them. And I know, like Steve rolled half of them and I rolled the other half. And my first roll was an indication of a random encounter. I'm pretty sure we had one. That might have been actually not in that room. In the next room, we found Galaxina's spell laboratory, which my character's all excited about. So we're again doing a long search of that room, finding spell components and stuff like that. But we did get a random encounter, and we were attacked by 3 fire beetles. And I actually got hit in that fight. It's the first time I've been hit yet. This thing, and it almost killed me. I have 5 hit points, and it took 4 of them. So that was pretty close. Joan actually was hit and really bad by a fire giant, and he ultimately was killed. So our NPC Joan, the young wizard that we'd met in the first session, that was trying to recruit his own band and then joined ours, he is killed in this fight. Waylon finishes off the rest of the fire beetles. Waylon, one of the things he did was in town, when we were in town, he upgraded his armor to plate. So he's a little bit, granted he's only first level, but he's a little bit tanky. He's harder to hit, which is great. So he was able to finish off these fire beetles. We actually, Anirion with the guides Alana, and she's able to harvest the hearts from the fire beetles, which they're basically going to act as a light source for a few days, 1 to 6 days each. So we were able to harvest those. The next room we go into is a scroll library, and again, my character is extremely excited by this, and we start searching that. Another long search, going through everything. I find a scroll with a spell on it. It's knock, but then I rolled another random encounter, and my character's rifling through all these shelves, and this puff of gas comes out of one of them, and my character, I have to make a death save, and I fail, so the gas starts to suffocate me. I'm able to hold it off, but I'm basically diseased, and if I don't get healing within a day, my character's gonna die. So we decide then and there that, okay, we're gonna go back to Thatch, and we're gonna get healed. So we retreat out of here, get to our giant crows that are giving us transport to and from Thatcham, and return. And we end up going to the Temple of the Blue Star, which is a temple that worships Arkantril, which is the goddess of magic. We make some trades. I found some really unique spell components. I have them written down somewhere. What are their names? Oh, you know what? They might be on this sheet. Yeah, so I found some really unique spell components. It was the Cat Lord Whiskers and Whispers of the Sandman. So I took those and showed them, once they healed me, I showed them to the people at the Temple of the Blue Rose. They were very interested in those. So in lieu of payment, it would have cost like, I can't remember how much, it would have been fairly expensive, like 900 gold pieces to get this disease cured. They took those spell components in trade. So we didn't have to, we lost the spell components, but I didn't have any spells that I could use to for those, so they would have been much higher, and it's going to be a long time before I can cast those. So it was worth trading them. We did end up with some other treasure. Like I said earlier, we found that cloak, which turned out to be a magical +1 cloak. The amphoras, we ended up with 2 amphoras. The first one that was on the statue, that was worth quite a bit of gold. And then we found a second one, which was worth like 100 gold. And we found a gold brooch that was also worth 100 gold. So we got a little bit of loot out of it. We lost Joan, which was too bad. My character, out of respect, and because he's a fellow wizard, magic user, he collects Joan's spell book, and in that spell book, Joan had the spells Burning Hands, Featherfall, and Enlarge, which was cool because I didn't have any of those spells. I have a scroll of Burning Hands, I believe, but I don't have it in my spell book yet because I haven't been able to afford to write it in. So now I have 2 spell books. So I have Joan's spell book. We said goodbye to Joan. So we ended the session there. And I think there might be some plans we were talking about, because Dragonslayer has some carousing rules, and we may explore those maybe at the beginning of next session. I'm not sure. We talked about it a little bit. But it was, despite the loss of a trusted NPC, it was a good session in the fact that through all of this, we actually, the characters, Waylon and my character, Anirion, we gained enough experience points to level up. So we're both 2nd level, which a little is a lot. So it's like, I got a little bit more hit points. I got another spell, so Anirion can cast 3 spells a day. I'm still in the process of choosing which one I want to take, because you get 1 when you level up. And I was reading through the spells in Dragonslayer, and there's some interesting ones that aren't just direct translations from older versions of D&D or anything. They're unique. So I kind of like those. There was one in particular I got to read over again, and I might take that one. I liked it. Like the sounds of it anyway. But there's some good ones there. So we have the party now. Everybody is 2nd level except for Brother Tor, the cleric. Because Feather, our elf thief, he had leveled up the session before us, because thieves don't need as much XP. And because there was only 2 of us in this, but thankfully we had the 2 war dogs, Alana and Joan. So we had like a full party. We just didn't have a full party of PCs. But it was enough so we actually were able to still play, which was great. So I hate missing sessions. It's not good. So we were able to get it done. So hopefully we'll play again this Thursday. We'll continue to explore Highfell and see what's up for our characters next. Thank you all for watching. Catch you at the next one.